And so I'm Matti Hakamäki. I'm the director of Finnish Folk Music Institute. We are situated in Kaustinen, and we are an organization which has worked with folk music for 40 years, 45 years now. And we are working with folk music in many different ways. We have a big archive, mainly about the contemporary folk music. So we have, like for the last 50 years, we have pretty good archives, recordings and etc. Video also about the living heritage of Finnish folk music. And we are recording every year at the Kaustinen Folk Music Festival, maybe 100 hours of folk music. And also we are trying to give this information to the generations to come also. And then we are making books and CDs. We have publications, and then we are working with education with children, and then also with other, actually all kinds of education. Then we have different kind of projects, and we have a library. Actually, anything that promotes Finnish folk music, that's what we do. And also we have a museum, Finnish Folk Instrument Museum at Kaustinen, and a pretty big collection of instruments, of folk music instruments. And we are about 10 people working with us, and Tallari, the group Tallari you have met already, is under the same organization as we are. So we are kind of Tallari is promoting Finnish folk music through the concerts and performing arts in a way, and then we are doing it in other means. And yes, I'm here for half an hour. I think is Annika here? I don't know if she was meant to give an introduction also, or Riitta.
Yes, Matti, I'm here.
Okay.
I'm assuming that you're doing the little slide presentation that we finalized yesterday. I'm sorry, my camera, I cannot have my camera and sound on where I am right now. So you'll see my picture there. You met me maybe briefly on Monday. I was introducing the concert, the opening concert. I'm the head of music for Centria, working with Riitta at Centria. And I have actually myself attended this Nurtra twice, covering once I was substituting for Riitta. So it's a great fun event when you get to do it live. So hopefully next year there'll be the traditional polka contest. So wishing for that, but it seems like you had, I was following with this Anna's lecture, and it seems like you still have a lot of interesting things to do this week. So hopefully you're enjoying. So I'll give the word to Matti again, but I'm here if you need anything.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, maybe, thanks. Maybe in the end we can, if you have anything to say, especially how the students could be involved in the project. I think that might be an interesting in the end to see that. But I have the presentation that we have made, and I've added some remarks. So I will continue with that. But yeah, so with the Finnish Folk Music Institute, we have worked with this concept, intangible cultural heritage, the last 5-6 years maybe. There is this, okay, maybe I have a question for all of you. If the concept intangible cultural heritage is something familiar to you, could you raise your hand, everybody? You have heard about it and you know about what it means. I will just keep your hand up, please. And okay, I can see everybody, not everybody's camera on. Okay, but I get it. Yeah.
Can
okay,
you say
so
repeat the term? I didn't hear it.
Intangible cultural heritage. If it's familiar to you, or if you know what it means, or if you have used it, or Okay, it seems that not everybody, but most you have heard the concept. Yeah. Okay. Good. We have worked with we have worked with intangible cultural heritage the last 40 years, all the time that we have worked with folk music, but actually understanding the word intangible cultural heritage and using this wording, it has been only maybe 5 years or 6 years, and this is because Finland has signed this convention for the safeguarding of intangible cultural heritage of UNESCO. 2013, so about 7 years ago. And in Finland, we started to talk about intangible cultural heritage, maybe, yeah, after that. And little by little, all the culture sector and the traditional music, traditional dance sectors, and all the different sectors who are working with culture started to use the term little by little. And actually now we are still in the process, and it's not very known yet in all the places in Finland, but it's coming very strongly, and we were kind of in the forefront of these activities, and we have been trying to find out what this intangible cultural heritage means, and what how we could use it in our work with folk culture, folk music, folk dance. And we have come to a conclusion that this is something very, very important for our field to understand, because it gives some advantages which are very, very important in comparison with kind of the normal way of thinking, how we, the traditional music scene in the Nordic countries, how we are used to understand our tradition and how we are using it, and how we are performing it, and so on. So we have kind of got the idea maybe 5 years ago that this is something very, very important, and we have to really think of all the things that we do through this concept of intangible cultural heritage. So I will present this project that is actually it's the Centria University is the main participant of the project, but we are with the Finnish Folk Music Institute, we are also involved, and then the Tromsø University from Norway, they are the official partners, and then we have some other, like the Sami Academia from the Sápmi, and then Framnäs Folkhögskola from Sweden, and also the Norrbottens Spelmansförbund involved. But this is a project, and I will present the project, and at the same time I will be talking about the ICH, the Intangible Cultural Heritage, what new it could give to us. So maybe in the end we understand a little bit about both the project and the concept of ICH. And yeah, and then in the end, Annika, if you could maybe give some ideas how the students could be involved in this process in the future.
Certainly, I will.
Okay, great. Now if I find the correct presentation, I think it's here. No, it's not the correct one. No. Once again, I will try. Can you see it now?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So the name is ICH North, passing on our musical traditions. So we are concentrating on music and then intangible cultural heritage. And the area that we are implementing the project is the Interreg Nord area, which is kind of the northern parts of Norway, Sweden, and Finland. And the objectives of the project is to enhance and strengthen the safeguarding practices for traditional music of the North. So thinking that we still have many traditions, many elements of intangible cultural heritage of folk music, folk dance in the northern region that are not recognized. We don't know, even us, the folk music people, folk dance people, we don't know about these traditions, and especially the institutional mechanisms of these countries, the ministries. We don't know enough about these traditions. So mapping our intangible cultural heritage is the aim, and also to have these kind of network activities when mapping, and then also do some other safeguarding practices. Our objectives also, we are thinking about another project that we will do in during this project, and this is something that we are actually considering very much here, is like the education of safeguarding intangible cultural heritage. And I will talk about that later. So it's until next summer or next autumn. And this Interreg North is the place where the money comes. The output, the networking, digital material bank for traditional music heritage. This is something that hopefully we could be doing in a longer time, maybe 10 years, 5 years, something like that, but planning to get it started. And then this mapping exercise will be maybe the most concrete way. So we are trying to map different traditions, different living traditions, especially living traditions of this area, and we will be presenting them on video and on a website platform, so that we will actually have in the end of this project, we could have like a map of different heritages, and especially to concentrate how they are passed on today in this in these days. And then we are planning with this project also for another project, like a bigger project for Interreg, which would be kind of a educational project, and that would be to have this massive online course about the musical heritage and ICH and passing on the ICH, and we could be then using these examples that we have gathered during this project in this web course or this MOOC course. About the intangible cultural heritage, what's there to think about for the folk music people, folk dance people of our days? What new intangible cultural heritage could offer for our way of thinking and making traditional music? These are just some ideas that I was thinking in the morning when I was kind of reflecting this matter. So that we have to, or we should take it into a consideration when talking about intangible cultural heritage, and how it differs maybe from the ideas that we have had before. So one thing is that this concept of intangible cultural heritage, it highlights the living tradition. And I think this is something that it would be very important for us to understand in the Western world. We have this idea of heritage, which has a history of maybe 300, 400, 500 years, about the museums, about the archives, about the importance of knowing of the roots of our societies, kind of the civilization, kind of the wisdom of our heritage. It's in this idea of it's kind of rooted in this idea that we also have to know our history. And there's also this concept of nationalism, which is very strong with the concept of history that we are used to think. This means that when we talk about traditional music, when we study the traditional music, when we teach traditional music, we kind of highlight nowadays. We kind of highlight always the amount of years that it has passed. Kind of if the tradition is 300 years old, it's better than the tradition of 50 years from 50 years ago. And this is something very rooted in our Western thinking of way of thinking. And this is something a little bit different with this concept of intangible cultural heritage. So the UNESCO Convention always talks about the heritage as a living heritage of today. It can be rooted in the history, and it usually, or actually it always is rooted in the history, but we are talking about the heritage of the people today. So it's kind of the value of the heritage. It's not because it's not valued in the age, or it's not valued in the aesthetic matters. It's not said that this tradition is very important because it's so beautiful, or this tradition is very important because it's so old. These are not used, these kind of arguments in this thinking of ICH, but more the practitioners, or the players, or the people who do it now and identify to the heritage now today are actually giving the value to these traditions. And this is something very, very big. It's very hard to explain in a nutshell, or in a short time. But this is something very revolutionary, actually, when we think about our societies, or our kind of the civilizations of the Western world, how we think about the nation states, and the history of Sweden, or history of Finland, and the cultural history of these areas. And there's lots of thinking to do with these concepts, and I really think that this is kind of a good direction, and very interesting direction also to do our work as music performers, or educators of folk music, folk dance. So we can do it better, our work, if we understand these concepts. Of course, we can have different views, and we can have we can kind of we can do our work in a different way, but it's good to understand the basic concepts. So the living tradition, and emphasis on the living tradition, this is one thing that this concept of ICH brings to our work. Then another thing that is good to understand, that with this concept of ICH, we can there's a terminology, there's kind of the terminology created, which is applicable in different societies of the world. That means that if we talk about the folk music of Kaustinen, and we talk about the folk music of Kaustinen with the wording of ICH, with the concepts of ICH, we can understand, or we can be understood by the people of Mexico, or the Aboriginal people of Sami, or Amazonas, or like all the cultures in the world will be kind of can be communicated with these same concepts. And this is, I think, also a very important thing. When we talk about traditional music, we usually our concepts, what we use in our education in the northern countries, in the Nordic countries, and in the Baltic countries, I think also, it's we are not talking about the concepts of kind of global concepts. These are European, these are Occidental, these are maybe colonialization concepts or so on. So they're very rooted in our region, the Europe or the Occidental world. But with this ICH concept, it can be really thought as a global. And this has been the aim of the ICH to kind of get rid of the regional things and then kind of try to create a language which is applicable in the world, in all the societies. One very important thing is empowerment of the communities. So the value to the tradition through this thinking of ICH, it's not given by the professors or the experts or the teachers or the directors of music institutes, but it's always looked bottom up. Like if there are people who practice, who play, and they really like what they play, and they identify to the things that they play, and they want to pass it on to the next generation, then it's valuable. But if a professor says that, oh, this tradition of rune singing is very, very valuable because it's so beautiful, it's not applicable in this concept of ICH. So it kind of it's not allowed to talk about the aesthetic values in a way, so that there would be kind of more aesthetic values in some traditions and less in other ones. But the only thing that gives values is the fact that the communities practice the tradition. Again, this is a very, very huge thing to think about, and we're just kind of giving it as a scratching the surface here. Political significance is very big, I think, with this concept of ICH, and it's because of these conventions that has been signed in the world and in Europe. UNESCO ICH convention has been signed now with about almost all the countries of the world have signed it. It's about 190 countries. There's a Faro Convention, which has been signed about half of the European countries, which has very similar kind of ideas about intangible cultural heritage. And then also the Sustainable Development Goals, which is the United Nations kind of this idea of guidelines for all the countries in the world, how to manage the future. And the ICH or the culture is also included there. So, and with these kind of political directions, it means also that there are the resources of the society, and that means that there are money. There will be money and resources like that the countries will put to these to implement these conventions or these SDGs, the Sustainable Development Goals. And that's always good to understand when we do our work, that there is this kind of a how we put our project applications, what words to use, and so on to get the maximum results. One concept very important for us is the social function of a tradition, and then the art, kind of the aesthetic function of traditional music. And this is another very big concept and debate. We could have a discussion for 1 week only about this subject. And then also this ideology or this concept of ICH gives something to think about for these dilemmas. Important is just to share information about our field, about the traditional music, traditional dance, folk music, folk dance, ICH. This is That's kind of how the process goes on, that we recognize our heritages. And then what it gives to us is the idea is that if we reflect on this matter of ICH, we will become better in the work that we do. If we teach, if we perform, it will help us to understand our work, how it kind of belongs to the bigger picture. These are the participants that we have. Actually, I talked about these already, so I just go them through very quickly. And here I will, this was no, it wasn't the last one. I will, yeah. Now, Annika, if you have, if you want to give some words about the possible involvement of the students.
Yes, certainly. As you see at the moment, we have our Laura from Lapland, actually, who's the YOIC student. It has joined the student working group, and Anna-Mari, who's the producer of this event. So we have 2 Centria students at the moment. If anybody is interested in any one of you joining student working group, please take contact with me. And Matti, we can probably share this presentation, and all of our emails are there visible. There might be even, if you're from Norway, the project has, Norwegian part is financed separately. So there's a project manager, Michael Strobelt at the Arctic University of Norway, and you might even contact him. So there are 3 project managers. I'm the project manager for this organizational part, and Matti for the content, and for the Folk Music Institute, and then Michael for Norway. So you can actually contact any of us if you're interested. The student working group has not done anything yet. We've just started this project in January. We got together 2 weeks ago, the steering group, and now we've planned what we're going to do. And the students will have their say also. So please take contact with me if you're interested, and we'll join you. You can join. And of course, this community working group that was in the previous one, this will get very big as we go on throughout the next year. Now we just have one participant, which is a project participant, but that could be anything. A community of dancers, musicians who would like to be part of this project, and also highlighted in our social media. And also Nordtrad, Interreg Nord will be then highlighting us. So it's a little bit of marketing also. Yes.
Yes, thank you. So it would be this project has a very, it's very important that we are working community-based. So we are hoping that in the future we will have many communities from these areas that are working with traditional music, and we have those involved. And also the same is with the students. So we hope that there are as many folk music, folk dance students as possible also here involved in this project.
And I saw there's a chat, Matti, from
Oh, okay, sorry, I haven't. Yeah, very good. Yeah, this Setesdal, this is yeah, I was talking that Finnish Folk Music Institute, we have worked with this ICH for a long time, and we were the first accredited NGO to this convention, and this has made us very close with the convention, so we are working for the convention. But also the other thing is that the Kaustinen folk, the fiddle tradition will be inscribed to the list of UNESCO in December. Well, at least we hope so. We are well, of course we are almost sure that will happen. Setesdal is one of the elements that has been already inscribed to this list of UNESCO, and we have also met the people from Setesdal and asked them very many questions about what this all means and try to study their work. Yeah, that's true. And also from Estonia, Latvia, there's Kihnu, Seto, and Suiti that we have been in contact with. And Lithuania also, there are some, actually we haven't, or at least I haven't been in that good contact with them, but in anything, if there's people who are interested in these intangible cultural heritage matters, please send me an email or so. I'm sharing this ICH Nordic Baltic ICH network, which is not only music, it's like on a wider scope, all the traditions that there is, but we are working a lot with that. And there is a Facebook page. If you just search Nordic Baltic ICH, I'm sure that you will find, and you can join the Facebook page, and we have activities there. But we are very interested in networking with all the stakeholders who work with ICH.